Yeah, and then all through while I was an artist with Capitol, I also had a job because until you really start making money, you need to live. And I just got married and was working on a family, and yeah, it became pretty tough. So I had to leave the music business when I found out, after working in a mailroom for a record company, all the shenanigans that they pull in those offices when nobody's around. Like how they can get rid of or make an artist, whatever. And I went on and started working in retail for 10 years from there. And then my mother asked me one day, will you help me open a restaurant? I was in between jobs, and I said, okay, I'll give you a hand. So we started in 1993, and I'm here today. She passed in 2001. I took over myself, and 20 years later, I'm still here, barely. That's all I know. I'm not a chef. I'm not a chef by no means, not even close. I cook, I like to cook, but I only cook what I know. And what I know is what my mother, all her recipes. And they're pretty standard recipes in the sense that the basis behind it is their sofrito, carrots, celery, onions. That's the base behind stews, sauces that have meat in it, meat dishes. So if you know that, you can do a lot of cooking. So I started making her bolognese, I started making her lasagna, her spaghetti and meatballs, and those are the best-selling items still today, are the items that came from my mother. We've had chefs come along that were, pretty recognizable chefs, and they added some things to our menu, but as they passed, so did their recipes. And we always came back to the old staples, which were my mother's recipes. But that's the only thing I know, and it's kept us going. I mean, still today, the number one sellers are her lasagna, the way she made it, the way we make it. Everybody loves it, top seller. And our rigatoni bolognese, spaghetti meatballs. Hey, next year it'll be 30 years. The old-fashioned family restaurants are they're going away. They're getting lost in all this. Because unless you have an influencer or a lot of money for marketing, you get lost. In the restaurant business, the biggest challenge is the restaurant business. It is a challenge. You understand after a few years why they say, whoever they are, the restaurant business is a really hard business. I don't know if you've heard that before, but most people advise other people not to go into the restaurant business because it's just every day something new. When you're dealing with employees like this, that are just like normal folk off the street, it gets difficult. Language problems, just for them to show up, getting the people to show. It's gotten really tough. But it was good until the pandemic. I mean, we managed to get through this until the pandemic, and that's when everything started to go down. Everything became more difficult. Interviewing new people during this pandemic, the people that come in here for the jobs, they're just like, they have no experience. They say they have experience, and then you give them an interview, you set up an interview, they don't show up for the interview. Then if they show up for the interview and you give them a schedule, they'll come in maybe 1 day, 2 days, and then never show up again. They show up, again, just to get paid for the 2 days they work, like 10 days down the road. It's really terrible, the situation. But of course, it's not easy anywhere. I mean, look at the airlines, look at the teachers, look at everything. It's affected everybody. But for us, it's a little more difficult, I think, because there's a lot of restaurants in Los Angeles. I mean, that's real important, that the community knows you and they know you're trying to do the best for the community. You don't go out of your way to make things more difficult or change laws or anything. You just run your business and the community. But then too, it's I think people know that in the neighborhood know me from the neighborhood. I'm kind of outgoing. I say good morning. I say hello to people, which is kind of lost these days. I'll just be walking up the street. I'm 75 years old, so I come from another generation, several generations, and that's just something that I just took for granted. That you're walking down the street, you smile, say good morning. They don't do that anymore. They as you're coming to a person that you start to smile at, whether it be a dog or somebody walking a dog or they just don't even want to look your way. People are so gun shy these days to say hello. It's crazy. I'm not used to that. If I say something, my word's good. I'm from another world, I guess. And this is another world. Look at climate and everything. I don't know what to say, why I've done well to maintain the business. I think because we serve good food, because we have a lot of customers that have been eating here for a while. So we're a neighborhood restaurant, and a pretty good one, I believe. I've been dealing with cancer for the last 2 years, and I still make it here. There's something in me that I've been doing this so long that it's part of me now. So I come up here in the morning to check out. And I believe if you're a sole owner in a business like this, a family business, a restaurant, you have to be here and engage with customers, let them know who you are. And I've been doing that pretty successfully for the last 20 years. I think had I not been here, we wouldn't have been so successful. I'm not trying to brag, but I think you need somebody there to represent the restaurant, and that's what I do. It's been tough, but I'm here every day trying to figure out where I'm going to pivot next if I have a problem, with employees or money. I got to do something. I want to keep it going, but it's getting harder. I don't know if we're even going to be here next year. It's gotten pretty difficult with staffing and everything. But we're trying. I have this, I'm not a quitter. I'll give you my all till when I know it's absolutely, I can't do it anymore. Or the business can't afford to keep on existing like this. That's when I give up. But otherwise, I keep thinking there's a way to restore the business. This far, I don't know. I once heard that they say that 80% of businesses that open up, in food, are gone after 2 years. So now it's all making sense. All these things that I used to say, it's that I'm still here and had a good run, and I provided jobs for a lot of people that may not have gotten the jobs when they did, and they stayed on and become part of this family, I'll do anything for my employees. If they ask me, I'll do anything. If they need money or anything, or want me to sign for a lease or something, because if I do it, it means I know these employees well, and I'll back them up all the way. So those are little extras, little bonuses that you get when you work for me, and something that I like to do. That makes me feel good if I can help somebody out. So I'm Japanese and Italian. I was born in Washington State, and we moved to LA, my mother and my brother, My dad was American-born Japanese who was in the 442nd World War II, where he met my mother during the war. And
Hi. I'm looking for a job for the breakfast.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm looking for a job for breakfast. Same for breakfast too.
Did you have an interview?
Oh, I sent my resume.
Okay, can we
Yeah, of course.
hold up a second? Yeah, just